All right. So this webinar is being recorded and we're about to begin. So today we are going to discuss several goals and objectives. One of them is to learn how to successfully complete and submit the minimum basic education requirement compliance and district survey. So the questions are, what is the minimum basic education requirement compliance and district survey? Why do we need the matrix? What is the certificate of conditional or full compliance that is issued upon submission? What is the deadline for this submission this year? Is there going to be any feedback associated with this submission? And in case you need help, where do you go? Just a few things to remind us of statutory foundations for this process. One of them is RCW 28A 150-20. Section 7 specifically states that the State Board of Education shall adopt rules to implement and ensure compliance with the program requirements imposed by this section. RCW 28A 150-250 states that if a school district's basic education program fails to meet the basic education requirements, the State Board of Education may recommend to the Superintendent of Public Instruction that the superintendent withhold state funds in whole or in part for the public education allocation until program compliance is assured. So how is it possibly done? Washington Administrative Code 180.16.195 actually states that on the annual reporting and review process, in the event a school district has not complied with the basic education law, a certificate of non-compliance must be issued. How do we ensure compliance? We ensure compliance by submitting an annual basic education requirement compliance and district survey. What is a survey? The survey and certification of compliance with the program of basic education are the responsibility of the Washington State Board of Education. In case you have any questions, any concerns, please address them to us. The survey is an annual data collection tool that allows to confirm compliance for the 2024-25 school year by responding to the survey questions. And it's intended to inform districts of requirements and recommendations in current law. Also, it gathers information that helps the board promote a system that best meets the goals of basic education. So we basically do it to inform our school districts and LEAs of any changes or content of current law. And we also gather important information. The matrix, this year, it's the 2024-25 Basic Education Matrix. It actually lists all the requirements. Another thing to remember, and we still keep on doing it, we keep on reminding districts of it, is that the survey is no longer located on iGrants. The link does not exist, and it's simply impossible to fill it out on iGrants. You will be able to do it through a link that is sent to all the district administrative offices every year through our information letter. All right, let's keep on going. If you have any questions, please drop them in the chat, by the way. Maybe that way it's going to be more informative for you and for me as well to see way ahead what kind of questions we may have. All right. So what is the basic education matrix? Actually, it is a table that lists all the required and encouraged educational offerings. Basic education compliance is established through district attestation that they are providing each of the required offerings, and we're going to take a look at them in a moment. The matrix actually provides 4 criteria for recommendation. And I know it's a lot of information for you, but stay with me for a while. I'm going to present you with the actual matrix in a moment. Foundational elements. They must be present in each and every program of education in every school district and LEA. Required offerings that are explicitly tied to basic education. The key word here is explicitly, because these types of offerings describe elements which have no explicit basic education or compulsory education reference in statute. Additional required offerings. They describe elements that are related to basic education but appear elsewhere in the statute. They do not have explicit basic education reference. They do not factor into compliance recommendation. Finally, encouraged elements. They describe elements that are encouraged in the statute. They do not factor into compliance recommendation. All right. Here is the matrix that lists required and encouraged offerings. Required offerings have foundational elements, required offerings explicitly tied to basic education, and additional legislatively required offerings. The matrix is placed on our website. Please, you will always have an opportunity to take a look at it at any time by visiting our website and pressing the link. So the matrix offers and lists each and every basic education element. The matrix is followed by a descriptor. Descriptor is quite a lengthy document which is attached to the matrix. It's about 8 pages long. And what it does is that it lists each and every basic education element with abundant citation and resources available. Let's just take a look at the first page of the descriptor. We have here grades K-12 minimum instructional hours listed on the foundational elements of basic education. The descriptor gives us the citation, direct references to RCW. Also, if your district is the WASDA, has the WASDA membership, it lists the policy number, which is available through WASDA subscription. And also this year we have the OSPI bulletin directly corresponding with an element in case it's available. And the link to this bulletin is attached at the very bottom of each section describing each basic education element. Okay. What is the process? How was the certificate of compliance issued? Let me give you 3 examples. If a school district establishes compliance with the foundational and required offerings criteria, but only with some additional legislatively required offerings, it's recommended for a full certification. The district will be notified of the potential issues with the remaining requirements. If a school district establishes compliance with the foundational category and with several, but not all, elements of the required offerings explicitly tied to basic education, additional legislatively required offerings, it's recommended for a conditional certification. And the school district or LEA provides assurance of implementation of the missing basic education elements. Finally, if a school district is non-responsive or missing foundational elements, does not have a plan for implementation of required elements. They're recommended for certification as non-compliant. So far, this has never happened, but we must inform all our district of a possibility, statutory possibility for this. Okay. So what are the topics covered by the basic education collection? We'll start from the very beginning, which is district and contact information, grades offered, days of instruction, waivers, instructional hours, graduation requirements, high school and beyond planning, access to graduation pathways, required educational offerings, all schools or schools with high schools, encouraged educational activities and offerings in general, mastery-based crediting and learning, grew. Finally, certification for the district, revision of responses, and the button to submit them. We also have some additions this year. We have new topics added to the basic education collection. One of them is Universal High School and Beyond Plan platform. Some of the prompts ask for specific information to discover school district preferences on implementation of Universal HSBP. We have additional prompts on financial education to ensure equitable access to financial education for students. And we also have prompts asking about barriers to dual credit enrollment. Okay. How do we fill out the survey? That is a very interesting question. So a sample survey is going to be available for you to review. As soon as you start the survey, the introductory page will list a few very important links. Please, as you go through the sample survey, understand that this is a sample survey. The questions may not apply to your specific situation because when you actually start filling out the real survey, it uses logic and it will present you with relevant questions only. You may spend time thinking about the best ways to answer to the prompts on the sample survey. And in real time, you may not even get those prompts populated in front of you. Please bear that in mind. The survey has the save and continue function that allows you to save your work, end the session, go have some rest, and come back at a later time. And at the very end of the survey, you will have a chance to review your responses. Go back, make any types of changes that you consider important to make. And finally, when you submit your responses, you will receive an email confirmation with a PDF attachment that actually shows all your responses. Some items may be in bold red, which means that they actually may have potential issues and require some resolution. All right. In practice, this may look this way. This is the introductory page of the survey for this year. Pardon me, my artistic skills and abilities. I tried my best to circle them in the red, but these are the hyperlinks that I was mentioning earlier. One of them is the hyperlink that goes directly to the statutory requirements, RCW 28A 150-220 that I mentioned before, and citations that I gave before we started. And then also a reference or direct link to the matrix. All links can be easily accessed and all the required information is available at one click. All right, as you continue responding to prompts, you will see the back and the next buttons at the bottom of each page that actually allows for flexibility to go back or to move forward. with the survey. And a very important button that we find very convenient is save and continue later. That is the function that I was mentioning before that you can easily use to take a break and come back to the survey at a later time. All right, as you continue going through prompts on the survey, you may actually face a situation when you respond to a prompt and it actually, the type of the response that you give may actually pose additional red flags, so to speak. This is an example from a prompt from the previous year, because this year we just started collecting our compliance submissions. And from the previous year, you can see a question here. In the 2023-24, will each public high school in your district provide a program for students who have plans to pursue career or work opportunities? I'm not going to read out the whole question, but you can see it in front of you. The answer was no. And it prompted the system to present a text in red, bold red, asking for clarification. In case it was a mistake, we really prompt you to go and correct your mistake. Give us the right answer that you intended to give. In case it was your answer, we are going to request additional information from you, and you can see it at the very bottom of this page in this specific example. Okay. As you finish your submission, you can download a PDF version of your work immediately. And please do not forget to hit the submit button. This may sound very interesting and probably funny, but in so many cases, the submit button is never pressed. Yeah. Please keep in mind that at the very end of the survey, you need to hit the submit button. Right. Let me briefly mention the deadline for the submission for the year of 2024. If you submit your surveys on or before June 12th, which is around the corner, you do not have any issues. Your school district can be certified as being in compliance for the 2024-25 during our June meeting. If the district makes submission or before August 1st, it can be certified at the August board meeting. The deadline for submission is September 23rd. Final school districts are going to be certified at the October 16th board meeting. Just a few reminders. We really encourage you to complete and submit your survey before the end of the current school year. You and your staff are not tasked with this very important submission over summer or even at the beginning of the next school year in September. And please have a designated staff member who will be totally responsible for doing completing the survey and submitting it at the right time. All right. We will be communicating with you. We just launched the survey and the informational letters came out last week. As soon as you respond and submit the survey, you will receive a PDF with responses as a copy for your record for you to keep on file. And it may actually highlight possible issues immediately after you make the submission. We will give you instructions to follow a step-by-step process to correct your errors if you have any, because you may not. We will send you periodic notifications regarding updated certification status. We will communicate with each school district to resolve issues, should you have any, and we will issue a final notice. All right. Please do not hesitate to visit our website every 7 to 10 days, every week, pretty much. We will update the Excel file and we will place it on our web page. We will be listing all the districts and their statuses of submission. Okay. And do not hesitate to visit our website if you need a link to access the survey or if you want some more information on basic education compliance in general or in any types of resolutions that you are looking forward to. All right. If you need some help, you can always reach out to me. Or you can always visit our webpage. Review all the information on compliance. Okay. This is the way the web page looks. And at the moment we have several important documents placed there, including our most recent report, the contact information, the matrix. All right. All right. I think at this point, I'm going to finish my presentation. I can see the chat and I can see the questions being placed there. Our executive director is joining us, and let me stop sharing my screen for further information and any questions or comments. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Randy Spalding. I'm Executive Director for the State Board, and I'm going to answer a couple of these, and Andrew is going to chime in and answer a couple of these. But there's one regarding the deadline for the June meeting, and I caused some confusion with my team on that one, so I'll admit that right up front. But the 12th, it would be our deadline to get it in our materials that go out to the board in advance. We can review those that come in between the 12th and the 17th and do an updated list for our board. But those would not be reflected in what gets posted before the meeting. So you may not see it prior to the meeting that way. So apologies for the confusion. We kind of missed the holiday, messes up our mailing deadline. So apologies for any confusion on that. And then Andrew, I think you flagged a couple you wanted to respond to.
Yeah, thank you. I see a question to the effect of other requirements. Some of the requirements are grade band specific. Some are for high school only, and some are for certain grade bands and lower grades, either in middle school or some of the elementary grades. Depending on the grade band you select at the beginning of the collection prompts, as Victoria mentioned, there's logic built into the questions, so you will only see questions that are related or required for the grade band that you select. So you don't see all the prompts by any means. I hope that answers the question. I saw a question earlier about whether or not people or the respondent is required to look at the sample survey. The answer is no. You don't need to look at that. If you're familiar with the survey from previous years and feel comfortable in answering the questions, you can just log right onto the survey and get started without going to the sample survey. One thing I wanted to mention also, and I'm not sure if Victoria had mentioned it, she might have, but I just want to say it again, because it is kind of important and it is a time-saving tip. If you want to open up any of the links to the statutes or the rules or the OSPI bulletins or policies, if you do a right click on your mouse and open in a new screen, that will save you from having to go back and forth between the survey and potentially getting kicked out of the survey. So you use the right click and open the link in a new page, then just close it when you're done. That'll save you a little bit.
And I will just add, because we got this question, if you are a Mac user, it's command click.
All right.
And then it's in chat, but probably worth it. If you did not receive the link, then just contact Victoria directly and we'll get the link to you. We don't post that on the website because we don't want random people coming in here and filling out the survey.
Yeah.
And
Just
yeah, if I
go
can
ahead.
just say, I see a question in the Q&A from Muckleshoot. Victoria and I will take a look at your record and we'll contact you after the meeting here via email.
And I also have received quite a few questions about the sample survey. Emails, basically, asking if the sample survey was for the previous year. Yes, it is a sample survey and it's for the year of 2023-24. It's a sample. It's just for you, for your information to look at.
And then there was also a question about whether this needed to be approved by your local board. The board does not need to approve it. It's the superintendent or designee who's completing this form and making the certification. Your board may approve it if you choose to, but
And once again, the sample survey is for you to review. And if you don't want to review it, you don't have to review it. You can begin with the actual survey. I can see questions. I just want to answer them without typing them up for answer for everybody. It's just for your information.
And that's a new question. Yes, you can collaborate to the extent feasible on this. A couple caveats. It's that you do have the save and continue function. It does need to be completed by a single person. There's not a way to like create a workflow associated with this. But and the submission though, essentially the superintendent is signing off on it. So that is an important element to that. But yeah, we want you to have the best answers. And so please do collaborate with, and that's why we provide the examples and so forth as well. So whoever need to bring to the table.
Yes, and some superintendents have reached to me asking for actual copies of the survey as a Word document, in the format of the Word document. If you would like to have one, do not hesitate to reach out to me, because we understand that some of our school districts are working collectively on everything that they do, and you may have a team of people who work on the survey. We understand it. Yeah, but again, please keep in mind that the survey uses logic. You may spend a lot of time on the prompt that you may not even see on the actual survey. Okay. So, yeah.
Yeah. So I to that point too, if you see a question that is asking about something that happens in ninth grade and you don't offer ninth grade, you don't have to answer that question.
Yeah. All right. Okay, yeah, the question is asked if we have any preferences on the administrator who is going to fill out the survey. We believe that the district is responsible for the survey, and whoever takes responsibility of filling it out and submitting it to us, I believe it's the district's decision.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to.
Yeah,
So I didn't-
we ask,
ultimately,
yeah.
ultimately, they have to have authority to sign on behalf of the district. So,
We will request the information about the superintendent of the district, the contact information of the superintendent, sure. But the person who may actually fill out the survey may be listed in the next section. As you go through the survey, you will see all the prompts asking for this information. And it's up to you as a school district to make the decision who's going to fill out the survey and who's going to submit it to us. We do not make that decision for you.
Victoria,
Yeah.
if I could just add something, maybe you just want to say a few words about if a respondent prints out their PDF and sees their responses and they see a number of red responses on their PDF indicating possible issues. What is, should they contact you directly via email, or how would you prefer to have them, if they're sort of alarmed by the bold red font,
Mhm. Thank you.
what is the step-by-step thing they should do?
Mhm. Thank you, Andrew. Yes, in case you print out your submission or just receive it after you actually make the submission online, and you can see a lot of red text that I mentioned before during the presentation, please review all your answers and review the red text and the answers that you provided, and send me an email. Send me an email saying that you have just made a submission. You have had red flags popping up here and there on this and those types of items. You have provided insurance, and what's the next step that you need to make? Because we review your information, we review your assurance in compliance. This is called assurance, and we make a decision. And we always try our best to work with all our school districts to get certifications on time and get our school districts certified.
And Victoria, I see a question in chat. Someone is looking for your contact information.
Yeah.
Can you tell them how to get in contact with you?
Yeah, multitasking is such a wonderful thing, huh? I've never been good at it. Please do not hesitate to contact me.
And I would add your contact information is also on the SBE website.
Yeah,
On the basic education page,
Yeah.
that they can just hit that link and you can be contacted that way also.
Yeah, during the presentation, I showed a picture of our web page. Yes, you can find me there as well. If you go on the SBE website and hit the Basic Education Compliance tab, you will see pretty much everything there. Yeah. All right. Okay. Please do not hesitate to ask any other questions that you may have. Matrix should help you. It actually lists all the basic education elements or offerings, describes them at length, provides all the resources that should help you understand and analyze the information. It's a lengthy document, but it has its purpose.
and I would add, sometimes we do our best to improve this survey each year. If questions are confusing, do your best to answer them, and let us know though too if you find them confusing. And often there's an option for other where you can explain your answer as well.
Yeah. The survey actually has a field in the very end that actually prompts you to state something or anything that you would like to state and you have not had a chance to state during the process of the survey. Yeah. Yeah, or just send us an email with your questions or comments. We would really appreciate that because we collect that information as well. We would like our system to be improved and serve its purpose in the best way, best possible way. We really appreciate your feedback if you have any.
The superintendent, the responses go to the emails you provide in the survey. So it should be a superintendent's email, and then there's also a second field for someone who's completing the survey. And I think you will both get the email. And there's also a PDF that you can just download when you finalize the survey.
Yeah. And again, it all depends on the process that you have established in your school district. That's why we encourage you to have a designated person or be the designated person to fill out the survey and to submit it to us, because sometimes the person who actually submits the survey is the person who keeps that record. Superintendents may be busy, or some of our superintendents are very meticulous about their documents and they keep everything on file, and they never have any problems finding the submissions for the previous years. It all depends on the process that you have established in your school district.
Victoria, I'd like to add another, excuse me, another piece here about submitting your responses. For our respondents here, if you submit your response to us and then later find out that you've made a mistake on it, don't start a new survey. You should contact Victoria and she can send you a link to your survey. Then you can go in and correct your answers. So,
Yes.
don't, this is not unusual. We get people making multiple submissions because they find errors. But instead of making multiple submissions, contact Victoria and they can be corrected either by her or by you.
Yes, yes, thank you, Andrew. Yeah, that is very important because sometimes, yeah, things happen and we understand it as well. You may make mistakes, you may just change your mind. That's completely natural, right? Just let us know and we will send you a link to your actual survey that you have submitted so you can make any types of changes that you would like to. And in general, the survey is for the educational purposes as well. It has a lot of very important information collected together, packed in a nice package together, delivered to you. You may look at it this way. Yes, multiple links, all the information, all the requirements. As you go through it, you educate yourself a lot.
Yeah, we recognize that many of those state level mandates change each year as legislation changes. And so it's one of the reasons we include all those in this survey is to make sure they're clear to you, and also so we can report back when we're advocating the legislature about what issues districts might be having challenges with in terms of implementing. So it kind of goes both directions, but there were several changes to the matrix this year that were the result of recent legislation, and that happens almost every year. So, yeah.
Yes. All right. Please, any other questions or comments or just ideas or thoughts on the process? The prompt was sent, the link to the survey that has multiple prompts was sent to the school district administrators that are listed on the OSPI file, OSPI contact file. If you did not receive the informational letter from us, let me know about it. Send me an email and I will send you the link. Because sometimes, yes, we do understand that sometimes the system fails as well. And it may not reach you, which is a possibility, has happened many times before. Yes, please let us know, keep an eye on the website and just reach out. The responses from the survey go directly to us. As I mentioned in the very beginning of this presentation, we are the agency that administers this survey. This is the way we establish the process, the annual process of compliance with the program of basic education. It goes to us directly. We analyze it, we look at it, and we make a decision to have the district certified. Doesn't go anywhere else. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being with us today. We really appreciate it. I am so happy to see a lot of names, a lot of names that I know. Yeah. Thank you. At this time, we're probably going to conclude our webinar. Once again, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out. Any comments, we're always here. We're going to stop recording at this time.